family, Earth tribe, the Rainbow Warriors. It's no coincidence that we're all here right now. So let's take some deep breaths and just ground into this moment. Inhale deeply. Oh, yes. Inhale deeply and exhale deeply. My name is Annelise Balfour Couchman, and my aunt, Anna Balfour Couchman, my namesake, really. No one has a name more like mine than you. We have the same name, basically. And she lives in Berkeley, and she is my most far-out relative who I could not blow her mind. I can say anything, and you understand me. And that's what's so beautiful about these kind of conferences is that we understand each other. We can go, I could go as far out as I possibly wanted or even could, and you guys would totally get it. You know, you get me. So I appreciate all of you. And it's so apropos that this workshop on freedom, in this workshop on freedom, I'm actually attached to a little tiny wire to the ground. I'm like a stake in the ground and a little string or leash. And like the elephant, they break their will when they're children, and they tie them to a little tiny rope, and then they make the elephant believe that it can't get away. Its will has broken so that you can chain an adult elephant to the ground, and it won't run away because it believes it's stuck. And so that's the only reason we say stuck, is that we believe that it's even possible, because it's our thoughts that keep us there. So what I would love to convey is that you already are free, even if there's a leash. You can be free no matter what your circumstances are, what is happening in your body or what is happening in the world. You can be free and peaceful. And when you are, that actually morphs the genetic field, and everyone becomes more awakened. Everyone, like we're all connected, like the mycelium network that's under the earth and the roots of the trees and the air that we all breathe. We're all connected. So what we do affects the whole. So every word and action and even our thoughts, ultimately, because everything you see was imagined into being. So it's our thoughts that are creating this illusion, this reality, this dream. They call it a dream because when you wake up, you see the matrix, right? You see the programming, you see what they're trying to do. I can probably safely say that all of us can see that, right? That's funny that guy kind of threw me off my train of thought. Yeah. That was a glitch in the matrix, you guys. So I love awakened beings who remember that we're all connected, and then we can remind each other that we're affecting the outcome with every moment and every choice. And we're so accustomed to having all these fears of everything in subtle layers, like you might have mastered abundance, that there's enough money, but then you're jealous and you're worried about losing your money. And it's like we all have something, whether it's financial or your health or your whatever, because this world is tough. This world is brutal. You got to just admire every single person on this planet for doing such a great job, for holding it together on this extremely challenging planet. I'm so honored to be in your presence. I know your presence. I know you're all graceful warriors, and you're finding your tribe and building your spiritual muscles, which is what you got to do. Like your body, you can't just go to the gym and then work out and say, okay, yeah, this is good, and then stop. You have to continue it always and get stronger and stronger and stronger. So that's what we're doing here. We spend our afternoon in a class. I know you're probably all like me. I'm always learning something and investigating, and I feel like I'm here to liberate humanity and save the world. I've had this superhero complex since I was a kid. But it's because I'm a star seed, and some of you maybe as well come from other dimensions, planets, star systems, because this is a huge melting pot. The Earth is a melting pot of hybrid races from all over the galaxies throughout the multiverse. We really are exceptionally complicated and interwoven, and we're one big rainbow family. That's what we are now on Earth. It's been hard to get along because we are different kind of aliens. We are different extraterrestrial species, so we just got to get used to each other. When the programming lifts, the illusion of culture that is in perception management, when you step back from that, you realize that there's all this, right? The programming from school and our parents and religions and the media and education and the medical establishment creates this worldview that all of our beautiful, intricately unique, beautiful species of aliens living on planet Earth together have to deal with that reality. It doesn't feel like home. It doesn't feel right because it's violent and they're trying to kill the planet because the Earth has been hijacked by like a virus, a computer virus. And so you have to heal the cause of the problem before it goes and takes over everything, which is what's happened, right? Everybody wants cars and bling and money and computer, and we're all on our smartphones. And so this is what we're breaking out of. That's the programming. And someone said the illiterate of the next century will be those who can't unlearn the lies they've been taught. So waking up, my book is called Wake Up or Die Trying, instead of Get Rich or Die Trying. So keep your eyes out for that, because I'd really like to, it's not about me, it's just information coming through me so that we can continue this movement, so that we can wake everybody up. Remember who you really are. You're an eternal, divine, extremely powerful light being that can really do anything. You're a creator of worlds. Your strength is love. There's nothing stronger than love. Nothing ever stronger than love. Love always wins. Love always wins, so there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to fear. So that's freedom, right? It's freedom from fear. Fears, all the fears that we have in our minds about things. One of my fears, which maybe some of you can relate to, is that I'm like, when's the end of the world going to happen? And am I prepared? And when I go on a plane, maybe this is all the stuff I'll ever have again. I don't know what it is. Or running out of water. I think I've been on this earth long enough to remember other times of transition. And so I'm just a midwife birthing the new paradigm. And that's why we're all here, is to seed the new paradigm. And we do that through overcoming fear and loving each other, because we're all one family. And we know this. We know that humans are inherently good. There's so much goodness and so much creativity and so much beauty. People are so, so beautiful. And this planet, oh my God, are we blessed? We live in paradise. This planet is amazing. And you can connect with her. And if you don't already, try to be barefooted on the ground as much as possible, or at least at some point during the day. Because we're completely connected. I'm sure you've heard this, but we're connected through our core energy is actually your pranic tube. You've heard of the Sushumna canal. And then the chakras spiral in this vortex of energy that connects you with the earth and connects you with the sky, with heaven, with God, with your spirit, with the earth, so that you're always grounded. And so, are you familiar with your chakras? The chakras are the energy centers that correspond with the endocrine glands and go down the center of your body. And they need to be spinning in harmony. So I feel that there is a spiraling energy coming down from heaven and a spiraling energy coming up from the earth, and they intersect in these points. And we have more chakras beyond our body. But you can align and ground yourself daily through just connecting with this portal of light. And you can, because your chakras are the color of a rainbow. So you can just imagine like a rainbow waterfall coming down from the sky and washing all your chakras down and releasing and fertilizing and composting all your shit into the earth, because the earth takes it and transmutes it, just like the trees transmute carbon dioxide and turn it into oxygen. And we do the opposite, symbiosis. So feel your roots and your connection with the trees, and release anything you want into the earth. This is for your own meditations as well as right now. Just let it go. Let go what's holding you back. There's something that's preventing you from accessing your true power, and it is in your mind. It is thoughts. It's perception. Reality is created from perception. Our beliefs. It is our beliefs that create the present moment. Our memories create the past. Our beliefs create the present. And our... I shouldn't have opened my eyes. And our imagination creates the future. Imagination is our most creative tool. And part of the programming is to form our imagination into channels where what things they want you to think about, and images from movies and TV shows that they want you to think about, and the music that they want you to think about. And so we're expanding into our whole range of frequency. We're expanding into galactic beings, higher dimensional beings. So the 5D, this is the 5D conference, and the fifth dimension is vibrating at a faster frequency because everything is electromagnetic energy slowed down, so it's dense. But everything is energy, right? When you look at a microscope, this is actually moving energy. Everybody's heard that. Even mainstream kids, I think, have heard this, right? I hope. So when we speed up our, see, everything is slowed down energy. So when we speed up, we are able to manipulate physical reality more because we are creating it anyway. It's just that it's slowed down. So it appears that your reality is happening to you instead of you creating it. So in the fifth dimension, it's more obvious. Like already now, I'm sure things are happening quicker. You think of someone and they show up in front of you, or you think, oh, I thought of that already. Or, it's things that's happening. All the days are speeding up, time is speeding up. So it's the quickening. That's what's happening is our frequency is increasing so that we're more in tune with our intuition and our telepathy with each other, and figuring out what's really important and what to let go of that's not serving us. And figuring out how to change, like, for example, the Dakota Access Pipeline. This is the power of peoples united with love. This is a new precedence of how we can gather. And maybe, I'm afraid of dogs attacking me and getting arrested. I don't really want to go there, So that's one of my fears. But I believe we do it from ourselves, liberating ourselves, so that nothing can fucking bore a pipeline through you, through your energy body, through your vagina, through your head, through your ears. Like this is humanity standing up and rising up, saying this has got to stop, and we're going to do it peacefully through love and through sharing information, which is what we're doing now. So good. And all of our stories, all your wounds and traumas and suffering has led to the strength that you have right in this moment so that you can facilitate this transition. That's why you're here. We are starting a love revolution, a peaceful revolution, because peace is our only power. That is the only thing we have on them. Obviously, their weapons we're no match for their weapons, right? But we got love. We have peace. Peace is your power. When you are in peace, you are not afraid. You are not confused. You are not feeling lack or scarcity. You're at peace. Nothing can trigger you. When nothing can trigger you, you cannot be controlled. Then you are free. So then there's all the work to do in our relationships. How do we not get triggered? So I've really been thinking about this, and we need to have some tools. So if someone is triggering you, it could be a lover, or maybe it is some scary dude that for whatever it is, or the fucking demon, even if it's the fucking demon. You rise into your love. The demon has nothing on love, nothing. It is weak and feeble compared to the love that you are. That's why they're trying to control you. That's why they fill you with chlorine and poison, fluoride, and processed bad food and chemicals, and they're trying to kill the planet. Like, what the hell is going on here? It's so that you could remember who you really are as eternal divine love and rise into your power and into your potential so that your spirit would grow, your soul would grow. And when you know that you can learn from everything, then what's the problem ever? Even the bad shit is an amazing learning experience. What can I learn from this? If someone's yelling at you or whatever, you're like, what don't I understand? It's all misunderstanding, misperception, and a lack of self-love. When you really love yourself, you will not harm another. And so that is when we will have peace on earth, when everybody loves themselves. Because we couldn't even be eating animals or destroying the environment if we weren't suffering from massive lack of self-love, right? We have been programmed to hate ourselves. If you don't look right or weigh the right amount or have the right career or enough money, the money one's big. Like, because if you got a lot of money, then that it's really about the redistribution of resources on this planet. They waste 333 tons of food a year, 333 million tons of food a year, just in America, I think. That's more food than the entire sub-Saharan Africa produces in a year. More food than they produce, we waste. Isn't that incredible? So we have a lot of good, strong problems on our hands, like redistribution and increased opportunities. If everyone could do what they loved, that's a whole other story. That's how utopia actually works, because people are doing what they love. So when you're awake, you could actually live in a community and make it work, because there's a natural flow of life that we're just stopping up with our thoughts. So when we have peaceful relationships and peaceful communication, because everybody is just in pain, right? Everyone's just trying to get their needs met, and they often don't know how. Many people don't know how to express themselves because they were taught to suppress it as children. They were taught that it wasn't safe in some relationship. And so people don't know how to communicate, and we're ashamed of our feelings and our mistakes and our wounds, so we don't talk about it, and then we build up all these weird defense mechanisms, coping mechanisms, and then we sabotage our relationships, our health, our careers, whatever, and then the cycle repeats until you learn to love yourself, until you learn to open your heart fully and relax into the self-love, the self-love that you are. You are so beautiful exactly the way you are. You already are it. You don't even need to do anything or change anything. It can be right in this instant that we awaken up to enlightenment. It's so full, and it's pouring in. Remember the rainbow waterfall? It's literally just pouring in. And this is light, right? Light is information and understanding. And understanding, the ultimately understanding is understanding who you really are, that we're not disconnected from God. It's impossible to be separated from the source. And then you can relax. Everybody is in pain. So when you can see their pain, that sometimes triggers your pain. And then you get triggered. And it's mutual triggering. If it's not you, I'm sure we've all seen this happening in somebody's relationship, right? But you can witness the other person's, like real compassion. And so that it won't trigger your own. And then you can remember who you really are, and then therefore you remember who they really are. And realize that they just had an agreement with you in heaven to come irritate you so you could get over your judgments, or you could practice forgiveness. Every single person you have a contract with, to practice gratitude, or practice letting go, or practice respecting yourself. Forgiveness is huge. That's why we're here. We're just here to forgive, but not in a way that we're anybody's doormat. You can't be codependent and take care of people, and sometimes there's tough love. You can't be anybody's doormat. You have to respect yourself. Always respect yourself. Love is fierce. Love is powerful. That's why peace is powerful. It's like, it's fierce, but it's soft. So always, always honor and respect yourself and take care of yourself. But your love will diffuse a stressful situation. So people part ways, but peace is always an option. There's always a way to figure out whatever it is. I mean, somebody may freak out and then run away, but if they come back and have thought about it and evolve and handle it in a way that works and you're evolving, then that's healthy, right? That's healthy conflict, because there's always going to be conflict and friction. Friction is the impetus to grow, because we already are pure awareness. We already are eternal divine love. We already are the infinite. We are the universe and everything in it. So this is just our temporal experience to play as much as possible and find gratitude even in suffering. Because for me, I'm born in Norway, so I'm like white person, like I look like a white person. So I've had guilt around feeling like I couldn't be successful or even happy when there's so much suffering going on this planet. I feel it so strongly, but I can't spend my life suffering, because that actually creates a separation. And if I'm seeing the world as suffering, I'm only perpetuating my own suffering. Because ultimately, nobody needs to be fixed. Everybody is whole, but there's a way of living in service. Just the difference between being in service and trying to help somebody or save somebody, right? We're here to support each other's growth with unconditional love, sometimes tough love. Because love is tough. Like Jesus wasn't a wimp, right? He was wild. He was a badass. He was like cutting through the paradigm. And that's why they took him out. And that's even debatable whether he even existed. Like on this planet, it's the planet of misinformation. We have no idea what's going on. Nobody even really knows what's going on. And if you do act like you know what's going on, someone's going to say, you think you know what's going on, and that's a conspiracy, and like we can't agree on anything on this planet because we're a hybrid species of space spawn. That's why we can't even figure out what to eat. That's why some people get sick and die if they don't eat animals. And all the vegans are telling everybody that they can't eat meat. And so it's this division, all the political division we don't even have to talk about, but all these ways that they're trying to separate us and judge each other. So we definitely have to figure out a new way to eat, though, because even the way we do agriculture and vegetables is not sustainable. So we need to start creating urban gardens and personal gardens. You have a garden. You're so blessed to have a yard. Many people live in the city don't even have space to grow anything, but we have to start in France, I think or Paris, they put gardens on every rooftop. Obviously, gardens, solar panels. Have you seen those garden high-rises, maybe in Indonesia or somewhere, where the entire thing was grown with food, I think, and people live there? Did anyone see that picture on Facebook? Thank God for Facebook. It keeps us all together and connected, because otherwise, how would we know this awesome movement is happening? There's people awakening all over the planet, right? This is the shift into the fifth dimension. And the fifth dimension is, in my understanding, is that you remember who you really are as eternal divine love, as unconditional love. So there's no, I am you. So anything I do to you, I'm going to be doing to myself. So why would I do anything lame? You know, it's just, maybe it's so good. Maybe it's so good, but we had to come to the third dimension so we could suffer, so we could go back and appreciate it again. Because it's not like somebody's in a higher dimension and you're in a lower dimension. Like, we are multidimensional beings. We're just living in a third dimensional reality. And because there's actually a dark web around this planet that wipes your memory when you come in, and you only live 70 years or 90 years. And so most of us are higher dimensional beings that just forgot who we really are, because all we are doing here is just remembering. We're not necessarily even learning any new information. You're here to remember what you already know. So I am just here reminding you to remember what you already know. And we are to each other. And we even do it just with our eye contact or our smiles. Literally, you're waking each other up. Like, you can literally start connecting more with the people in our communities. Just look them in the eye, big smile. So I'm writing my first book. It's called Wake Up or Die Trying. It's a path to power through peace. It's basically 5 keys to free yourself. And did you have a time? And the first key is remembering who you really are. That's what I've been talking about this whole time. I normally drink water out of a glass bottle that's delivered to me in a glass bottle with the flower of life emblazoned in the glass. And it comes from a spring, and so directly into the glass. Am I so blessed? So if you can, bless your water if you can't drink good water. But even if you don't bless it, this water is not bad for me. This water is nourishing me right now. It's all our thoughts and our fears and our perceptions. We're literally morphing the quantum field with every thought and decision and movement and action and emotion. We communicate with the field through our emotions, our feelings, your vibrations. So that's why now the new paradigm is moving from the head to your heart, right? Everybody's talking about that right now. So the first key is remembering who you really are as eternal divine love, as oneness. I think we already went there and are that all the time. It's impossible not to be that, but when you see the bigger picture, then you don't have to be so worried. You don't have to worry about growing old or dying or getting diseases or having arguments or never getting married or never having children or never finding love. You don't have to worry about any of it. Nada. You are eternal. You have endless lifetimes. If you want, you can keep coming back to this one and doing the same shit. But ultimately, the new paradigm is about remembering that we don't want to do that anymore. We want to wake up and then die consciously. So you are aware that you have 360 degrees of multi-dimensions. So before you just like jump in a hole with the light with your relatives, maybe just go, whoa, what else is going on? And think yourself around. Think yourself around before you do anything, because you have so many possibilities. So many possibilities. And it's such a relief, because this body is so dense and heavy, and like, they call it gravity, but actually gravity is just electromagnetic vibration too, right? Otherwise, it would be hard to hold our arm up. I mean, it is, but I don't know. The way they describe gravity doesn't even make sense. They don't know what's going on. They told us what they wanted us to believe. In school, on the news, we all know that. So this is the fun thing that we're waking up from. We get to witness it and put our foot down and do something new. This is an exciting time to be alive. And you have to remind yourself of that, because I am an eternal optimist, and I have like a inner and I have been depressed and in anguish, and I created an extremely challenging path for myself, rather than, you could look at me and think that I could have chosen a very easy path, but I had a baby in the jungle with no midwife or phone, and it was all beautiful and full moon and candles and flowers, but her dad, who caught her and cut the cord, turned out to be a slightly crazy person that never made any money or paid any child support, and it was extremely challenging. Bless his heart, I have nothing but compassion and forgiveness, and we're friends, but it's still challenging. But it was a great practice, and they're raising a kid by myself, basically. I mean, he helped in the beginning, but financially, and I'm like an eternal adolescent. All I want to do is study and read and think and talk and dance and like I'm still figuring out how to make money from that. You know what I mean? I'm sure you can relate. As creative people are always the struggle, you know, because it's not supported, but it is by each other. And you see the American natives in North Dakota, how they're supporting each other. There's people from Hawaii and Mexico. So this is the prophecy of the Rainbow Tribe. It's happening right now in North Dakota. They have a prophecy about the Rainbow Tribes coming together in this time, in this spot. And they had a huge battle there that was also a prophecy. Wounded Knee was right there or something. So something is shifting right now. Do you feel it? And lots of people are going through really intense times. Okay, so I created a challenging experience for myself so I could have compassion for everyone and I could learn how to overcome fear. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to get financially stable. I'm going to get in this business with these people, and I'm going to buy some property and give my kid a house. And it all like bang fired because I made, I didn't pick the right partners. I picked crazy people. So I'm like, you got to look at yourself. Like, why are you choosing to be partners with crazy people? So that's always a good learning experience, right? We've all done that at some point, had a relationship with a crazy person. And because we all are a little crazy. So, but I like to learn on the job. Like I learned how, I came from the jungle having the baby into running a multi-million-dollar business and having employees and bought some property. And so I was on the fast track to like earning money and losing money, and I had to file bankruptcy because the guy was like corrupt. And that was an amazing learning experience because you learn all about what money really is and who creates it. I created all of it with my freaking signature. The bank then fractionalize, blends any money you give them. Like if you give them $100,000, they'll make $1 million on it in the first transaction. When you sign your name to something, there's no money there. It's just you created it with your signature. So I studied admiralty law and the truth about fiat currency and money. You guys know what I'm talking about? And how our real rights as people of America, which was actually founded as a republic. The United States was founded as a republic. Benjamin Franklin said, some lady was like, what did you give us, Benjamin? And she said, I gave you a republic if you can keep it. So we think we're in a democracy. And we fight for our democracy. But democracy is no bueno if 51% of the population is brainwashed and voting for something, It's not even a good system. It eventually leads to oligarchy, which is what we have now, which is a few people running the whole thing, pretending like it's something else sometimes, but usually it's like Russia and the different countries that have kings and queens and stuff. Those are all oligarchies. It's a few people. They might have one head, but it's a few people that run everything, right? So that's what we're dealing with now. It's not, they're all in the same bloodline and they're all related. All the presidents, it's been a monarchy the whole time pretty much, but it's been an amazing one because we have the rule of law, which is what republic is, or a republic. You have a law so that the people can't go crazy. Like in the Old West, if somebody thought they got stolen from, like, oh, you stole my stuff. No, I didn't. And the tribe comes and goes, you stole his stuff. And then they're like, hang him, and then they hang him. But somebody, the sheriff or whatever, comes along and goes, dun, 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 you can't do that. There's a law. You have a fair trial, and we investigate the situation. See what I mean? That's a really kind of weird, not weird, but do you get it? So a republic actually keeps things balanced. There's a little bit of interference from the state, not interference, but like firemen and security, just a little bit, so that you can leave your property. And someone will take care of it. You can just leave your property and it's fine, right? Some is good so that people have more freedom. If there wasn't that, I would have to stay home and watch my house all the time so nobody stole it, So this is what Americans don't even understand, right? We think we live in a democracy. It's not a democracy. Our elections are rigged and everything. But it's an oligarchy. But it was born to be a republic. But then the Republicans got so crazy. And I don't even know what happened to them because I haven't been involved in politics till Marianne Williamson. Then I kind of helped her out a little bit. But, and now it's so absurd. I don't even think we need to talk about it. But it's very bizarre times. So more than ever, it's about grounding into the earth. So remembering who you really are, seeing the bigger picture. You've already been here so many times and you survived. So don't worry, you got this, you got this. Secondly, self-love, like we talked about. Because until you love yourself, you can't love another. You've heard that, right? But really, it's self-love that makes you attractive. It's about filling yourself with eternal divine love that you are so that your relationships can be a bonus to that. Your bonus, your love affair with yourself and with God. And so everything is, I'm not trying to get anything from you to make me happy. There's no hole in me that needs to be filled. You know, I'm whole. So then hopefully you fall in love with someone else who's whole. Or if they're not, and you have enough to give, that's how we help each other. One side is they heal. You heal so much through relationships and sex and someone loving you and having your back and all these ways that we love and, you know what I'm saying? But the idea is fill yourself so that you're full to overflowing and so you can remember who you are so that when they're freaking out, you see their pain becomes obvious. Like, oh my gosh, I have compassion for you. Or if someone's freaking out and yelling at you, you're just like, whoa, hey, I would love to talk about that, but let's have sex first, or something so you don't get triggered and escalate the violence. Because that's one person, if you can handle it, one person can give you their grief. They could just yell at you and be mean to you even, because people have so much shame and demons, and there's even entities and everything that people have. They're so in pain. They don't know how to express themselves, and it gets pent up. So if you can handle it, then you can be a vehicle for that person's healing and your own, because you're not in victimhood. So mostly what happens is you take it personally and you feel like a victim and it triggers your jaw or whatever, and then you start yelling back and then you're arguing. Even if a lot of that is subconscious. You know, you're arguing about something else, but that's what's going on. So if we can just remember and practice, love yourself. Every relationship is for you to remember to love yourself. Everything that happens, all the heartache and dysfunction and frustrations and grief and all these things are just to remember to give ourselves that love. Give yourself that love. Because it's blasting down from the universe like a rainbow waterfall flushing out all the chakras. So your crown chakra is spirit down to the third eye, is your psychic telepathic connection, the higher awareness, sacred geometry, the Akashic records. And then your throat is all about communications. You want to keep your throat clear and be able to speak the truth. So our energetic centers get blocked by lies and grief and shame and guilt. So if we release those things, because there's nothing to be ashamed of, we've all made weird mistakes. We all have things that we wish we didn't do. We're all weird and wounded. There's no mistakes, and you can't fail. So just release all shame, and when you aren't afraid to speak about something, then other people will open up about theirs, and then it's healed. Then it's not manifesting in other weird, misappropriate ways, you know? You can bring it up now before it settles in your body as a resentment, and then something that needs to heal, and then comes out, and then you're like yelling about the garbage or something, you know, and instead it comes disassociated, and you start getting pains in your bodies or even diseases. And so it's just about releasing shame and releasing guilt and releasing grief. And it's okay to feel grief. On the other side of sadness is that happiness, that joy, that release. We're here to feel all our emotions. And to express them masterfully rather than, you know, negatively. We're here to masterfully express ourselves. We're not supposed to deny or suppress our emotions. We're supposed to masterfully express ourselves. And then there's no war. So this is why inner peace creates world peace. It starts within, it starts with us. But it's not about not doing anything, you know? Like if you feel called to do something, then you go do it. It gives your life a meaning. We're here to save the world. We're here to do our part and not be part of the problem, at least. You know, many New Age people are kind of misled and start talking about stuff, and then they're like, what are they even talking about? You know, we get so led astray. The New Age movement was infiltrated years ago, so they do just a slight tweak of the truth. So it sounds amazing, and it sounds so good, and it sounds so right, and then it's just like a little off. So that's why it's all about discernment, all about really feeling into your gut instinct about things, really knowing who you can trust and trusting yourself so that it becomes obvious, right? And even if you trust someone that becomes untrustworthy later, then you practice forgiveness and you learn from your mistakes. We all make mistakes. As long as you're learning from them and you can admit them and you can say you're sorry and be humble, then, you know, just go for it. We're going for it. We even hold back because we're afraid to fail. I know that I got that, like, but I'm writing a book, so I'm ready to get out there into the world, so anything you can do to support it. I'm at Annelise Balfour and Gmail. And I'm so glad you came. I'm so glad you came to Earth. Oh, the third key is trust. I've already spoken of them all, but I think I should just finish listing them. Trust, which I was just talking about. Trusting the universe, trusting God. You know how there's always a pattern. Something good is happening. Even the stuff that doesn't feel good clears the way for something better or prepares you for it. Because even your dream life, like we're all about the law of attraction, but it's your dream life may not, your ego might be creating that dream life you think you want, but really you're supposed to be doing something else. Life has something amazing in store for you. So if something doesn't quite go your way, you're like, oh, redirection. No reason to get uptight or sad. I mean, grieve if necessary, but just move on and pick yourself up by your bootstraps and keep chugging forward, because there's no reason to get bummed out about anything. I mean, I know wallowing in self-pity and depression. I can remember when I would be depressed, I'd be like, I'm so depressed, and I would keep saying it out loud, and that just perpetuates it because your words are so powerful. What we say is part of the thought-feeling process that affects the quantum field, of which we're all a part, we're all creating. Our thoughts even affect the entire universe, let alone just this world. We're like macro, micro, we're a microcosm of the macrocosm. The fourth key is responsibility. When you take responsibility for your life and the thoughts that you're feeling and the emotions that you're emitting and the actions that you're taking, and you step up to the plate and say, whoa, you know, I screwed up, or I'm going to do this. I'm going to fulfill my gift. Anyway, that was a tangent because it's about taking responsibility. You create things in your life. It's not always someone else's fault. It's not always the government's fault or anybody else's fault. This world is tough. Shit happens. Terrible things happen to good people. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason in some way. But there's always a silver lining. There's always a gift. There's always something, and there's always freedom, no matter what is going on. And just know that thoughts got you there. Wherever you are, thoughts got you there. Thoughts create. So we need to practice spiritual discernment, and I call it Jedi mind training. You're the Jedi of your mind, so that you are the master of your reality, of your sphere. And then you can practice mind over matter, which is really just not letting anything matter affect your peace, because that's when you're strong. Fucking Jedi doesn't get rattled, you know? They're just like, So personal responsibility leads to collective responsibility. That is, all of us as a whole taking responsibility for what's going on and banding together and doing something about it. And there are geniuses and brilliant things happening all over the planet in terms of alternate fuels and ways of living. So we're going to be fine. You don't have to worry. And when you're not worried, you're in peace. Lastly, this could be a whole nother workshop, is just your health. So the fifth key to freedom is understanding true health and what to eat and how to live so that you can eliminate toxins, because there's so many. Eliminating toxins, and it starts with eliminating the stagnation in your mind, which is what we're doing with discernment and movement and exercise. Your lymphatic system is what moves all the fluids and removes toxins. And removes, I'm stuck on the mic. I'll just go like this. The lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. You have to pump it with your movements, with moving. So that's just a little tidbit, but knowing what goes in your mouth as well as out of your mouth are equally important, right? But we can do a lot to support organic farms and markets and good companies that are reputable and won't jump on the poison bandwagon. You know, it's growing and it's all going to work out, and we're going to heal ourselves. The most amazing healing technology available. I don't know if you guys have been studying this stuff, but lights and frequencies and remedies and vibrations and old medicine, and we can heal anything. So once again, you don't have to worry about anything. And if you die or you get sick, then that's your meditation. You have a different path. No worries. We're always together. Separation is impossible. So thank you so much for coming, Annelise. Or Nanu Nanu. Let's take one Om together, shall we? Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Aho Matakuyasin.